All right, well, assalamu alaikum, everyone. So before we get started today, I am going to ask you all to mute your microphones if you are not talking. We have a great lineup today, and I want to ensure that they have our full attention and that we don't inadvertently spotlight all of them. So as we all know, we are closing out Black History Month, but we know that we celebrate our excellence and our beauty all year long. This month for Talim, we've had some of our greatest leaders. We started off the month celebrating with Aisha Mustafa, and she really talked to us about the history of our community. We then went on to hear about and dissect and analyze movies with Brother Rob Bashir in ways that we have been known to do in our community. One night in Miami was what we spotlighted. And last week, we looked at the array of Muslim leaders that we have in our community and kind of talking about some of the things historically and some of the things that they see moving forward. And today, we are closing out the month of February with the cultural showcase. I want to thank my Talim committee. I serve as the chair of the Talim committee with my esteemed team, Dr. Lionel Allen, Dr. Gloria Bashir, and Brother Shamsuddin Sadiq. And so, inshallah, today, I want to begin by asking that if you can turn your camera on, turn your camera on. It's hard to perform in front of folks. It's even harder to perform in front of a screen where you see no people. So you don't get to see their interactions and see their applauses and their reactions, right? As many of you know, you feed off of the energy of the audience. And so we want to allow those folks that are in their homes performing to feed off the energy of the believers that are around the city and around the country. Really watching and supporting them. And as part of that, if you'll look at the bottom of your screen, you have several buttons. One of them is reactions. And so I ask that you use your reactions and use your chat feature. The reactions has hand claps and a celebration party. So we want to give them the love and the feedback from their performances using these reactions and using the chat section of our Zoom, because we all understand how challenging Zoom can be. So as we look at starting our performances today, there's a little bit of the history of Black theater that I want to share with you. The minstrel shows of the early 19th century are believed by some to be the roots of African American theater. They initially were written by whites, acted by whites in blackface, and performed by white audiences, for white audiences. But after the American Civil War, they began to perform these shows, then called the Ethiopian minstrel. And by the turn of the 20th century, they were produced by producing Black musicals, many of which were written, produced, and acted entirely by Blacks. The first known play by an African-American was James Brown's King Shot Away in 1823. William Wells Brown's The Escape, A Leap for Freedom, both in 1858, was the first Black playwright published by the first real success in Black dramatist Angela Gremick Rachel in 1916. African-American theater flourished during the Harlem Renaissance of the 20s and 30s, and experimental groups of Black theater companies emerged in New York City and Washington, D.C., and of course, in Chi-Town. Amongst these was the Ethiopian Art Theater, which established Paul Robeson as America's foremost Black actor. Garland Anderson's play Appearances in 1925 was the first play of Black authorship to be produced on Broadway. But Black theater did not create a Broadway hit until Langston Hughes' Mulatto in 1935, who won acclaimed awards. In that same year, the Federal Theater Project was founded in providing a training ground for Blacks. And in the late 1930s, African-American community theaters began to appear, revealing such talents as Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee. By 1940, the Black theater was firmly grounded in the American Negro Theater and the Negro Playwrights Company. After World War II, Black theater grew more progressively, more radical, more militant, reflecting the ideals of the Black Revolution and seeking to establish symbolism as part of their white culture. Councils were organized to abolish the use of racial stereotypes, those Black faces that we talked about earlier, and to integrate African-American playwrights into the mainstream, something, of course, we still are fighting for today. In the 1960s, there was the emergence of a new African-American theater movement, which reflected the political and social conditions in contrast to its predecessors. African-American theater is vibrant and unique entity, enriched by ancient Egyptian rituals, West African folklore, and European theater practices. A continuum of African folk traditions. Theater combines storytelling, rituals, music, song, dance, with ancestor worship from ancient times to the present. So during Black History Month is a time that we pay tribute to this history. And there's so much of the rich, excellent history that we have. So I want to first start off by telling you a little bit about our selection of our theater, which will be a representation of Black excellence today. S.U.N Theater Company, who has a mission to provide opportunities and create experiences that will engage and enrich and inspire participants to gain knowledge and training and appreciation of the theater. This experience will nourish the human spirit and foster valuable life skills. And if any of you have been to any of the S.U.N Theater Company presentations, you know exactly what I'm saying. Of course, we know that S.U.N Theater Company has the brilliant leadership of its founder and artistic director and instructor, Zakia El-Amin. It has been around for 45 years and has performance that includes original stage plays and with our playwright, Zakia El-Amin, skits, dramatic presentations, oratory, pantomime, monologues, improvisations, puppetry. It runs the entire gamut and pays attention to our rich history of Black excellence. And participants range in age from 4 years old to our seasoned, beautiful adults. However, we know that the pandemic has switched things up just a bit. So due to the pandemic, our weekly classes at Masjid Al-Taqwa for students have come to a halt. But you know we can't stop, right? So today we have the pleasure. Please mute your mics. Thank you.
Okay,
so today we have the pleasure of presenting to you through our Zoom medium some seasoned adults to perform and some of our young folks. And this is not the first time that S.U.N Theater has done a Zoom presentation. You may remember the Eid Planning Committee play written by Jamila Mayoun and her daughter Safia. We had such a great time laughing at the play during our Eid celebration. And now the seasoned adults are rehearsing for another Zoom play to be performed on May 15th. And that one's entitled In Our Minds and is written by Zakia El-Amin and performed by Rashana Mayoun, Najla Tamir, Hakima El-Amin, Cannon, and Halima El-Amin. So while we haven't been able to get together on Zoom for those weekly performances, what you'll see today are a few of our favorite presentations that have previously been performed. And inshallah, you enjoy them and you feel the love and sincerity in which they are performed and which they were written. First on the stage, who will be spotlighted now, is Jenna Cannon. She is 9 years old and in 4th grade. And if any of you know Jenna, she's just a bubble of fun. She's been a member of S.U.N Youth Theater since she was 5. And she is a huge fan of Harry Potter, and recently has a new cat named Dora, who she absolutely loves. She's very excited to be performing on Zoom today. And the name of her presentation is Our Deepest Fears by Marion Williamson. Jenna, can it take it?
Assalamualaikum. Today I will be performing Our Deepest Fear. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most finds us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightening about shrinking so other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. And as we are liberated from our own fears, our presence automatically liberates others.
Let's give it up for
Takbir.
Allahu Akbar. Go ahead on. Now tell me that's not Black excellence. I love it. Thank you so much. That was performed beautifully. We have such great young talent, and may Allah continue to bless them and let them shine and keep them on the path, inshallah. Next up, we have another one of our, they're growing up so fast. Another one of our youth, Naima El-Amin Parker. She is 17 years old and a graduating senior. It kind of takes my breath away to even say that. We will be spotlighting next. She is another talented young lady. She will be attending a university in the fall with a major in biology. She's a member of the National Honor Society and a member of the National Technical Honor Society. Naima has been a member of S.U.N Youth Theater since the age of 5. She is an accomplished artist and has dabbled with upholstery. Now, accomplished artist is probably an understatement. She is simply brilliant, simply brilliant. You have to see some of her work. A young woman of multi-talents. And her presentation today will be Usini Eugene Perkins. Hey, Black Child. Naima.
Assalamualaikum. I'm performing Hey Black Child. Hey, Black Child, do you know who you are? Who you really are? Do you know you can be what you want to be if you try to be what you can be? Hey, Black Child, do you know where you're going? Where you're really going? Do you know you can learn what you want to learn if you try to learn what you can learn? Hey, Black Child, do you know you are strong? I mean, really strong. Do you know you can do what you want to do if you try to do what you can do? Hey, black child, be what you can be. Learn what you must learn. Do what you can do. And tomorrow, your nation will be what you want it to be. Thank you.
Woohoo! Allahu Akbar. Show us some love. Excellent, excellent and beautiful. And what a message. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. You know, it really does warm my heart to see the talent and the bravery, right? It is no more difficult to stand in front of the Zoom with an audience. And actually, I think it may be even more difficult than it is to stand in front of people. And we know as adults that one of the greatest fears that we have is to stand and perform. And so to have these young people that show us their bravery and lead the way, I am truly, truly in awe of them. We have another one of our young performers that are coming to the stage next. And we have Anwar Shaheed. And if any of you all know Anwar, you know that if you want someone to tell it like it is, you can go to Anwar. He is 11 years old. He is completely brilliant and really now is playing the cello and joining the Shaheed crew, who just has so many talents. Today he's going to be performing for us The Block. And if you all have never heard this performance before, you are in for a treat. Let's welcome Anwar Shaheed.
Right.
I open up my window and look down on the block, hoping God will take time to smile on the block. The news and the media just frown on the block. Politicians don't want to help us. And I'm like, thanks a lot. Innocent Black brothers getting beat up by the cops. Gangs preparing for war, loading up their Glocks. TVs are getting stolen and taking the pawn shops. Cars are getting stolen and taking the top shops. Drug deals going bad. Now into gunshots. Snitches are being beat and now hanging from roof tops. Teens with one dream are playing ball on the black top. But the dope fiends have no dreams, too busy smoking that crack black. An inspiring young artist writes rhymes at the bus stop. Tragedy baby daddy at the car wash getting cursed out. Hustlers trying to hustle, selling something that's hot. Hooker on the corner, she's a high school dropout. Black man, blue uniform, earth's name, sell out. Mama scraping up money for her son so we can bail out. 6 days later, he's right back in the jailhouse. I'm just hoping and praying that somebody will help out. On the block.
Allahu Akbar. Takbir. Go ahead on, Anwar. On the block. I love it. I love it. Go ahead on. Oh my gosh. Yes, we've got talent. We need to start a show. You know, forget The Voice, forget American Idol. You know, it's Masjid Al-Taqwa has talent. S.U.N Theater has talent. That's what we need to start. And I am so pleased to welcome our very next young artist. We have coming to the stage, Zarifa Shahid. She is 14 years old. Oh my gosh, I'm getting old. She's a 14-year-old homeschooler and has been classically trained on the viola for 10 years. Wow. When she was 8 years old, she competed and won first place in her age category for the Push Oratory Contest. She is also a prolific reader. Some of her hobbies are knitting in crocheting, which she is fabulous at. If you've seen her with the scarves and the hats, it's like, wow, I want to be like her. She enjoys interior decorating. Oh, she must get that from someone in her family, as well as creating masterful paintings. Another artist of many talents. And another pastime of hers is swimming, in which she has won several medals. She's been a member of S.U.N Youth Theater since the age of 4. Today, we welcome her and we applaud her for her presentation, Ballad of Birmingham, written by Dudley Randall. Take it away, Naila. We have some feedback.
Mother dear, can I go downtown and instead of out to play and march the streets of Birmingham in the Freedom March today? No, baby, no, you cannot go. For the dogs are fierce and wild. The clubs and hoses, guns and jails aren't good for a little child. But mother, I won't be alone. Other children will go with me and march the streets of Birmingham and make our country free. No, baby, no, you cannot go, for I fear those guns will fire. But you can go to church instead and sing in the children's choir. She brushed her night dark hair and bathed rose petals sweet, and drawn white gloves on her small brown hands, and white shoes on her feet. The mother smiled as she knew her child was in a sacred place. But that smile was the last smile to come upon her face. For when she heard the explosion, her eyes were wet and wild. She raced the streets of Birmingham, calling for her child. She clawed through bits of glass and brick, then lifted out a shoe. Oh, here's the shoe my baby wore. Baby, where are you? Alhamdulillah.
Woo! Oh my gosh, that one always hits right here. Oh my gosh, Naila, beautiful job. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Oh. Woo. Go ahead on. I told you all you were in for a treat, right? I'm not lying. Wow. Okay. Whew. Our next performer. Wow, these youth are not so young anymore. Oh my gosh, Zarifa Shahid is our next performer. She is an 18-year-old sophomore at U of I Champaign-Urbana. She's majoring in global studies and math. She has also been a member of S.U.N Youth Theater and gave her first performance at 2.5 years old. Yeah, she has been talented for a very long time. Trust me. And she's competed and won first place in her age category of the Push Oratory Contest at the age of 12. And at the age of 14, won third place at the AXO competition in music. Her hobbies include Model UN, origami, and photography. And I can say that she is brilliant in all of those, which it just brings me joy to say. She's been a classically trained violinist and violist for the past 13 years. And her presentation today is Ego Trippin' by one of my very favorites, Nikki Giovanni. Zarifa, I know we'll do it justice. Please give her your undivided attention.
I was born in the Congo. I walked to the Fertile Crescent and built the Sphinx. I designed a pyramid so tough that a star that only glows every 100 years falls into the center, giving divine, perfect light. I am bad. I sat on the throne, drinking nectar with the gods. I got hot and sent an ice age to Europe to cool my thirst. My eldest daughter is Nefertiti. The tears from my birth pains created the Nile. I am a beautiful woman. I gazed on the forest and burned out the Sahara Desert. With a packet of goat's meat and a change of clothes, I crossed it in 2 hours. I am a gazelle, so swift, so swift. You can't catch me. For a birthday present when he was 3, I gave my son Hannibal an elephant. He gave me Rome for Mother's Day. My strength flows ever on. My son Noah built New York, and I stood proudly at the helm as we sailed on a soft summer day. I turned myself into myself, and with Jesus, men intone my loving name. All praises, all praises. I am the one who would save. I sow diamonds in my backyard. My bowels deliver uranium. The filings from my fingernails are semi-precious jewels. On a trip north, I caught a cold and blew my nose, giving oil to the Arab world. I am so hip. Even my errors are correct. I sailed west to reach east and had to round off the earth as I went. The hair from my head thinned and gold was laid across 3 continents. I am so perfect, so divine, so ethereal, so surreal. I cannot be comprehended except by my permission. I mean, I can fly like a bird in the sky.
Let's give it up for her. Allahu Akbar. Takbir.
Wow.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That was absolutely, absolutely beautiful, Zarifa. Thank you so much. Ego tripping. Look, I just say sometimes you're just telling the truth. It may not be ego tripping. I'm just saying. You know, I had the pleasure of meeting, I'm gonna put in quotes because it was on Zoom. But last week, Nikki Giovanni came and talked to our students at the university, and she had me on high. She actually talked about Little Red Riding Hood in a way I'd never heard anyone talk about it. She said, everyone has heard the story of Little Red Riding Hood. She said, but context of stories and understanding of stories really are what makes the story. So she said, Little Red Riding Hood is just not about a story of somebody going to their grandmother's house, you know, and getting chased by wolves. It was really a story of a mother's love for her child, that she sent her to her grandmother's house so that she could get away so she could get to safety, knowing that grandma's house is always a safe space, and putting a red hood over her in scarlet fever so people would stay away from her to ward off those folks that would cause her harm, right? And so it's really a story about the love of a mother and a grandmother for a child, and the perseverance of a young woman to get through those trying times with her mother in her front in her back and her grandmother in her front. And I said, well, okay. That is, I have been enlightened. And she just told so many stories in ways that really transformed the story and made it more meaningful to me. And so I hope that we find these performances in the ways that they're performed, and the Black folks that have written them is part of their experience. I hope that we find in them ways to transform our understandings and our own thinking. Now, our next performer, although not as young as our previous ones, is still a young, beautiful soul. Hakima El-Amin will be joining us as a spotlight a performance next. And Hakima Jenna Cannon has been an educator for over 20 years. Now, you know it takes a lot to be an educator for over 20 years. Yes. And she dedicates her heart and soul to the work. She first started working as a classroom teacher and a literacy coach, and now she is a reading specialist. She is an original member. Come on, young people, y'all gotta learn something. She's the original member of the S.U.N Theater Company, giving her first performance in the skit A Hole in the Bucket at the age of 4. Now, I won't tell you how old she is now, but that's a long time. I'm just gonna say that. She has performed in numerous stage plays, Cinderella, Changing My Life, Building a Nation, Nubian Brother, The Young Businessman, Mama Edda's Place, Time to Remember, Ethnic Fairy Tale, the ED Planning Committee, and so much more. She is currently rehearsing the skit In Our Minds that I talked about previously, that's scheduled for May 15th, and I hope you all will join us. You'll be getting more information in the newsletter about that. But today, her presentation is In the Morning, written by Paul Lawrence Gumbar. Sister Hakima, take it away.
Thank you, Dr. Aisha. Again, I'll be reading the poem In the Morning by Paul Lawrence Gumbar, which is written in dialect, as many of his poems were, and it's a monologue. Lies, lies. Bless the Lord. Don't you know the days abroad? If you don't get up, you scamp, there'll be trouble in this camp. Think I go let you sleep while I make sure board and keep. That's important how to do. Don't you hear me, lies, you? Bet if I come across this flow, you won't find no time to snow. Daylight all a shining in whilst you sleep. Why, it's a sin. Ain't the candlelight enough to point out without a snuff? But you go the morning through, burning up the daylight too. Lies, don't you hear me when I call? No use turning toward that wall. I can hear that mattress squeak. Don't you hear me when I speak? This here clock done struck off 6. Caroline, bring me the matchsticks. Oh, you down, huh, sir? You down. Look here, don't you dare to frown. Mop yourself and wash your face. And don't you splatter all over the place. I got something else to do besides just cleaning up after you. Come here. Look here, boy. I done let you see. You shan't roll your eyes at me. Come here, come here. Bring me that abstract. Boy, I'll whoop you till you drink. You done felt yourself too strong, and you surely got me wrong. Sit down at that table there. Just you whimper if you dare. Every morning on this place, it seems like I must lose my grace. Fold your hands and bow your head. Wait until what a blessing said. Lord, have mercy on our souls. You sit still. Don't you dare touch them rolls. Bless the food we're going to eat. You sit still. I see them feet. You just try that trick again. Get us peace and joy Amen. Thank you. Alhamdulillah.
Takbir! Allahu Akbar. Go ahead, Hakima. That was beautiful. I love it. I love it. Look, look, I was looking around for my mom, like, wait a minute. Those are some real words right there. Those are some real words. We have so much talent. The next the next person coming to the stage. Look, I just told myself a joke and then laughed, so you just have to excuse that. The next person coming to the stage is someone we all know and love. I specifically love him and adore him so much. We know him as our resident Imam of Masjid Al-Taqwa, but he's so much more. We know him by his dedicated work, by his love of the deen and his love of community. He is by trade a journeyman ironworker, like his father. He is an Ibn. His father was also a journeyman ironworker who was just a beautiful soul that we continue to be in awe of and to make dua for. He is currently, and this is Imam Tariq El-Amin, he is currently completing his Master of Divinity in Islamic chaplaincy. He's a former host of Radio Islam, and he's also an original. Again, come on, young folks, y'all gotta know what original is. It's like those original Michael Jordans that you all are now, trying to go back to, and all those original songs that y'all remaking. Original is that's how we do it. But we learned some stuff from you all too. So y'all could say you're original in so many ways. He's one of the original members of the S.U.N Theater Company. His first performance was at the age of 5. Little Sailor Boy. He is currently doing so much. Probably if I listed all the things that he was doing, we would be into 4 Taleems deep. And so I'll just say that one of his biggest projects right now is his dedicated work and leadership of the rehab of our new home at Masjid Al-Taqwa, which is 9335 South Escanaba, to make sure that the believers have a space that they own, a space that they can call their own, and a space that we can continue to give and service the community writ large. Today, Imam Tariq El-Amin's presentation is a poem written by him. I did say by him, over 20 years ago. Y'all didn't know that he could also write, did you? Well, if you did not, you are certainly in for a treat today. The title of his performance, of his poem that he will perform today is "I Don't Want to Be a Black Leader." Imam Tariq, please take the mic.
Thank you very much. I'm doing 2 things here. Okay. All right. Assalamu alaikum. So there's actually a slight change. I had some difficulty in pulling up the copy, so we're gonna share an excerpt from a piece. It's a monologue entitled "Blackness," and inshallah, you'll receive it well, inshallah. We knew we were the darker people. That much was obvious. Looking at their pale, ruddy complexions, these strangers led some of us to think we had been visited by apparitions, by spirits come up out of the grave. They looked as if they had been hidden from the sun, where not even the slightest hint of its life-giving light could reach them. Some of us thought we were in the presence of the dead come to life. Oh, if we had known how right we were. Their supposed mortality affirmed. We let them stay among us. At first, they simply watched. They listened. They observed us much in the same manner as scientists might, casting their gazes on cultures in petri dishes, or better still, biologists observing wildlife in their natural habitat. Be patient. The petri dishes come later. Slowly, they began their interactions with us. They had learned our languages, and now they told us with no small amount of certainty that they could make our lives better if we would believe in their ways. Had their stay among us been so long and in such silence as to make us forget our initial assessment of them? We had taken them for dead. Indeed, time is that great crucible where memories, large as mountain boulders and wide enough that they become unavoidable on mental highways, are ground down to grains of sand, giving little clue to the size and shape of what made them. We had taken them for dead, and now they offered us salvation. Us, sun-soaked and free. Them, offering us a picture of a man appearing frail, bloodied and broken, friendless and suffering, and also of that same pale, ruddy complexion. They sat among us long enough that some among us began to deny our beauty. Horror, trauma, tragedy, and all manner of despicable things befell us. It would take lifetimes before we remembered who we were. We were always the darker people, of varying shades, but all embodying the touch of the sun, melanated people. But we became black, black by necessity, black before black was beautiful, and black before black power, but black like black holes, and blackness that consumes, blackness that lets nothing out, blackness that hides defects, that denies injury, that defies definition, black like starless nights without so much as a single point of light to aid the traveler. Our blackness housed the soul of a people, keeping it tethered to the divine despite the degradation falsely tied to blackness. Even these rambling thoughts lose their footing seeking to elucidate blackness. How does one get closer to blackness without getting lost in its depths? These thoughts force us up. They force us to walk by feel and not by sight. Arms stretched out in front of us, short shuffling steps leaning into a sense of smell and sound to provide the picture our eyes are unable to provide. This leaning into those other senses is a part of blackness. Blackness we celebrate. Blackness we imbibe. Blackness we aspire to, and blackness we remember. Assalamu alaikum.
Woo! Let's give it up. Allahu Akbar. Man, that was powerful. That was powerful. Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much.
Alhamdulillah. Very nice.
Yes, thank you so much, Tariq. That was woo. You know, it makes me, man, it makes me appreciate our ancestors, our pioneers, our forefathers in ways that I can't even express, right? To be in a time where I have no doubt that my blackness is beautiful. I know that so many people fought to get to the space where I know that, and I appreciate that, and I can pass that down to my children. And so it is no small thing, and it is no small thank you that I give for all the work that allows us to sit amongst ourselves and amongst others and be proud of who we are and what we've accomplished and know our excellence and know our beauty. So that was a great reminder of that. Thank you so much for that. We have one more performance this afternoon. And this performance I know is going to have us all continuing to stand up and cheer. This is Zarifa Shahid, and he is 16 years old, a homeschooler and a paraprofessional musician. And I think he is just so talented, and so humbled by it. I'm like, man, if I could do that, I would be on the L trains. I would be just everywhere. You could not get me. I wouldn't even talk. I would just be playing music. He's been a member of S.U.N Youth Theater since the age of 5. And for the past 12 years, he continues to be classically trained on both the violin and the viola. At the age of 10, he competed and won first place in his age group of the Push Oratory Contest. Again, a young man of many talents. His interests include composing and producing electronic music. So when you're looking to do something at your job, or you're looking to do something around music and you need some beats and you need some sounds, Nazi is your man. He also loves birding and photography, and he arranges all of the music for his group, which is the Beyond, which he is a member of. Today, he is doing a solo presentation. If you can tell us what the name of the piece is, we are in awe of you and all that you continue to accomplish. And I will hand the mic over to you, Zarifa Shahid.
This is a short excerpt from the Scherzo Tarantella by Minyowski.
Beautiful, Naz. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. That was an absolutely beautiful piece. Wow. What an afternoon of talent, of the showcase of culture and Black excellence from the S.U.N theater group. I know, as you know, that none of this would have been possible without our leader, our S.U.N theater leader, Zakia El-Amin. Zakia, Sister Zakia, I don't know if you want to say a few words, but nope, she says nope. She does, she does not want to say a few words, and that's just like our Sister Zakia El-Amin, who has many talents, and that we applaud and appreciate for all of the work that she does, and continues to bless both our youth and our seasoned adults with her talents. Well, inshallah, this concludes our Talim for today as a cultural showcase. It also concludes Black History Month. We look forward for you to continue to join us. We have a great lineup for Women's History Month of panelists and on women's health, on just women's history. We just have some phenomenal women that will share their talents and their knowledge with us. So we pray that you are subscribing to our YouTube channel Masjid Al-Taqwa, where you can find both this Talim and the previous ones along with our Jumas. And we will close out now with a dua. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. May Allah guide us and protect us. May Allah always remind us of our excellence and our beauty and of our impact in this world. May Allah make us beacons of light. May He have mercy on us and have grace. And may He guide our community, guide us individually, guide our families, guide our marriages. May He bless us to both strive for all of the best things and to achieve those things. I thank you and I offer my sincere gratitude to all of you. Assalamu alaikum.